Welcome back, guys. It's the TightWad, and today we are working on my brother's furnace. His heat stopped working in his house. Everything sounds like it's working correctly. The blower's coming on, the thermostat is clicking, but no heat comes out of his furnace. Before starting to work on your unit, it is a great idea to turn off the power. Most units have a light switch close by that you can flip off and cut the power off, but the safest way is to do so in the main breaker box for your house. Anytime something's not working properly in your home that has electricity running to it, you should always start with the breaker box to make sure the breaker's not tripped. In this case, I see that my furnace is number 27, so I'm going to flip it off and then back on. Now I can go back and test my furnace and see if that fixed my problem. Sometimes it's just that easy. Another thing you can try if your heater is still not working is doing a power cycle for your unit. So you want to turn it off for at least 1 minute to let all residual power drain from the unit, and it'll reset itself. Then you can flip it back on and see if your unit is working properly. So before you begin maintenance on your unit, always check your filter to make sure there's no large obstructions or buildup on the filter. It's always a good idea to change your filters with every season. So 4 times a year, you change your air filters in your air conditioner and your furnace units. You'll have to find the panels that are removable. This particular unit has 2 panels, an upper and a lower. It's fine to go ahead and remove both panels, but just know the system will not run if the panels are off because there's a pressure switch located in the corner right here. After you remove the panels, make sure you keep the one with the diagnosis codes close by. You'll have some LED lights on the inside that'll match up with these codes right here, and it'll tell you what's likely wrong with your furnace unit. So let's get started. When you first remove the panel on your unit and you want to test to see if everything's working correctly, you have to push in this button here. This button is actually pushed in by the corner of your panel, so it's a safety switch. Your unit will not run unless this is pushed in. We currently have our thermostat set to warmer than it is in our house, so when I push this button, it should kick on. Notice the green lights illuminating at the bottom. So our system's kicking on now. There's a tiny square in front of the right jet on the screen now. You can see it looks a little bit black, and that heats up. It acts kind of like a pilot light, so once it heats up and the flame starts, it ignites the flame. Since that piece doesn't glow red, we know we have an issue. So the first and easiest thing you can check is this tube right here. It comes off here, and you want to make sure it's not clogged, so you can stick a pin down inside this valve right here to make sure nothing is clogging your system. That's not the most common fix, but it can be one of your problems, and it's the easiest, so I would start there. The next thing you want to check for is the rod that's hanging down in front of your blowers. These are the flame blowers here, and then it ignites the gas valve on the backside. But this metal rod that's hanging down is a sensor. And if that sensor gets corroded, it's not going to read the signal correctly. It is actually a flame sensor, so it tells the furnace that there's a flame coming from the jets here, and it will not allow the gas valve to open unless the sensor detects the flame. So you can pull that off. There's usually a screw on the top. You can see it right here. So you pull that screw off, lift the sensor out, clean it with a soft fabric, and then put it back in place and try again. Hopefully, one of those 2 things will fix your system because they're free to fix. Most thermostats have 2 LEDs, possibly more, on the main board. Those are very important for diagnosing the problem with your unit because on your panel, you should have light codes showing right here. On this particular unit, we have a slow flash on the left side and on the right side. So we can start here with our diagnostics. The first one says primary or secondary limit switch is open, or on 2-stage models, the primary, secondary, or rollout switch is open. So switches usually have an open and closed feature. If a switch goes bad, it could read open when it's supposed to read close, causing your unit to stop working. So according to the panel, the primary switch or secondary switch is probably faulty. This is the primary switch, and this is what they look like on most units. It's this right here with the 2 wires going into it. we're going to pull the spade connectors, which are these type connectors right here, one's insulated, one's not, off of the switch, and we're going to connect them with a paper clip. We're simply going to pull it off here, stick a paper clip down inside so that it's connecting on both sides, and then the paper clip will also clip to the spade on the other side. And with that paper clip in place, we'll test the system to see if it runs properly. If the system runs properly, we'll know that the switch is faulty, and we'll be able to replace the switch and get our unit back up and running. I need to strongly recommend that you do not run your system without the switch in place. Do not try to run your heater with just a paper clip between the two wires, because switches are for safety, and when you're dealing with the type of heat that your heater puts out, the likelihood of fire is great. Never run your unit without the proper safety switches in place. Once you have the two wires off the switch and connected with a paper clip or some other fine wire that you can get inside the insulated connector, we're going to try the unit again by pushing the button. Notice that our two green lights are now both flashing. We're going to wait to see if the unit runs properly. See that the switch here is starting to glow. That will allow the flame blowers to ignite. And you see our flame is now lighting, which will in turn turn on the gas valve, which is why you see the blue flames. And this means that our unit is running correctly. So now we know that this switch here is faulty. So we're going to replace that today. This is the replacement switch we purchased online. It is called a limit switch, and they cost around $30. In ordering a replacement switch, the number at the very top is important. And then the number that starts with L160-30F is very important. So make sure you match those numbers on the switch you're going to buy as a replacement. Once the new switch is installed, make sure you put your connectors back on the exact same way they came off. One good thing to do is to take a picture of how your wires are configured before you remove them in the first place, so you'll always know which way they go back on. If you have to wait a couple of days on a part, sometimes you'll forget where the wires go. With the new switch installed, we're holding the button, waiting to see our glow, and there it is. Waiting on our flames to come on. There they are. The valve is now open, so we've got gas and we've got heat. As soon as we let go of this button, everything's going to cut off again, and we'll have to reassemble our unit by putting the panels back on. With everything reassembled, we can hear the blowers working down here. We can hear the flames, and if you look through the cracks, you can actually see the blue flames. So now we'll go out downstairs and wait on our thermostat to start climbing up to a comfortable temperature again. I hope you found this video helpful. If you did, give it a thumbs up and share it with your friends. Post any questions you may have in the comment section below, and I'll do my best to answer them. If you want to repair your air conditioner, you can see some links on the screen right now. Feel free to click one of them and it'll open right up on your device. Make sure you subscribe to my channel so you can always find this video and other home repair videos. I hope you guys have a great day.